Hey everyone, Tina here. Are you looking for an easy, everyday makeup look using old favorites from the drugstore? If so, then stick around, because I'm doing this face. I'm not fond of long intros, so I assume you aren't either, so let's get this hair out of the way and get some makeup on. So like I said, we're going to be using a full face of my favorites, and one of my favorites is the e.l.f. Mint Melt Cooling Primer, and I just love this. I've heard that it's a dupe for the Milk Makeup Gripping Primer, and I don't know that because I don't have it, but I know that I like this. It does have kind of a tacky texture to it, and so it helps your makeup stay on. And then, because I have combination skin that tends to get oily in the T-zone, I use a second primer, and this is the e.l.f. Matte Putty Primer. And I'm just going to take a little on my fingers and press that in to where I have larger pores. My nose, the fronts of my cheeks, my chin, and the center of my forehead. And while that sets in for just a little bit, I'm going to use my favorite eye primer, which is the e.l.f. Putty Eye Primer. And I've shown this in many videos, but I'll show it again because this might be the first time you've seen it. It's very dry looking in the pot, and if you just put it on, try to put it on your finger or try to use a brush, it's not going to work very well. Scoop out a little with your fingernail. Put it between your index fingers and rub. And as it warms, it gets very creamy and emollient. And then you can put it on your eyelids. And I use the shade Rose, that is my skin tone, but there are other shades that might match you better if you aren't fair and neutral to cool toned like I am. And that's that. I do feel very official now. I got a new microphone. I probably just messed up the sound there by moving it, but hopefully the sound quality will be better. Let me know in the comments if you can tell a difference in the sound quality on this video versus other ones. And let's go on then to my foundation. So everything I'm using is drugstore, very affordable, and I'm going for just an everyday, easy look, okay? Nothing too dramatic or difficult. So if you're new to makeup, this would be great for you to follow along with. I know that terms like affordable or everyday or easy are kind of relative. What's affordable to me might be out of somebody else's reach, and what's affordable to someone else might be out of my reach. I have kind of noticed with some content creators that their definition of affordable changes as they grow and as they begin getting PR. And I don't know if that's just because they're not then using their own money, or if they've gotten their channels monetized and so they're putting that money back into their channel, and so they're not having to use kind of household money. But it is something that I've noticed, and something that I would like to guard against. Because I know that there are a lot of people out there who are on a budget and who just can't spend a lot on makeup. There are also people who can spend a lot on makeup, and that's great. But I think it's harder to follow the YouTube beauty community when you are on a budget than when you're not. And please know there's no value judgments with anything that I'm saying here. I'm just making observations. I know that there were people that I started watching because they were specifically drugstore, and over time that changed and they weren't anymore. And I was unable to take advantage of a lot of their recommendations because what they thought was affordable was not affordable for me. So anyway, I just think it's interesting how what you feel like is affordable changes depending on your circumstances, which is exactly what you would expect. So that was the Maybelline Matte and Poreless, and I don't think I said it, but it's in shade 115. And the pump does not come with it, but I got those on Amazon, and I'll link that below. Oh, by the way, speaking of Amazon, I did sign up for the Amazon Ambassador program, so now I can post affiliate links. So if you follow that and then you purchase something, there's a little bit that kicks back to me, and I plan to use all of that to grow the channel, invest in equipment. I'd really like to get some lights and that kind of thing. So for my concealer, I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in 10. I had an online business back in, I guess I started it in 2007, and I made and sold cloth diapers. My daughter was born in 2006, and I made some diapers for her, and friends said, oh, could you make some for me? And through that, it grew into a business. One of the primary tenets of my business was that I would not use household funds to grow that business. And so when I bought fabric to make my daughter's diapers at first, I made and sold others from that same yardage that then paid for that and then paid for other fabrics. And so by doing that and investing money back into my business, I was able to grow and expand into more luxury fabrics and that sort of thing. And it was a really good model for a business. And so I'm going to follow that same model here with YouTube and hopefully someday get this channel monetized and go from there. So I really like that foundation and concealer together. I'm looking a little pale, but I'm going to powder first, and I'm going to use the Maybelline Fit Me powder this is their loose finishing powder in 05 Fair. This is an e.l.f. brush. This is the e.l.f. It's almost all wore off, but it's the e.l.f. highlighting brush, but I really like this for under my eyes. So I'm just going to dab in a little bit. I use my 10X mirror here, and I'm going to just pat out under my eye the concealer to make sure that I'm not setting in any creases, and then pat that in. And then pick up just a little bit more. And then I'm going to use a fluffier brush. This is a brush that I got in an Ipsy, and just going to pat that everywhere and then brush off the excess. And you know, if you've been part of the YouTube beauty community, watching videos for any length of time, that it is tempting to buy everything that is talked about. You have new releases all the time. I'm looking at you, ColourPop. Content creators review those releases and put them on their face, and they're pretty and you want it. And so it's difficult to be in this space and watching these videos and not get sucked into that consumerism. And I'm going to use the Milani City Bronzer. I'm sorry, mixing up my brands here. The Milani Silky Matte Bronzer in 01 Sunlight. This is just a really soft, cool toned, neutral kind of bronzer, really good for light skin. And again, using a brush I got in an Ipsy. So soft, just really like it. So the FOMO, right? The fear of missing out is real, and you feel like, man, I gotta have that, or I'm not gonna be up on the latest things, or especially as a creator, but even watching, you just want things, and it's not bad to want things. So there's this fear of missing out, and there's this pressure to keep up, and reviews, I think, do really well in the YouTube space. So as a creator, it's like, oh, and honest here, story time, I did a small Dollar Tree haul, and it's one of my best performing videos, but I'm not a haul channel. So it's really tempting to keep doing those videos that get those views, but that's not what I want to do. So there's this push and pull of doing the videos that get the views, but then doing the videos that you want to do. I've been doing a lot of research into YouTube and how to grow your channel and subscribers and all of that kind of things, and analytics and the metrics that are used, and it's just all very confusing. And so I decided today to get back to the basics, get back to what brought me to YouTube, and that's the makeup. But it doesn't have to be the latest and greatest. It can just be the L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Blush that you got at Walmart years ago that's almost gone, and this is Tender Rose, by the way. And you can still get a really pretty look with it. So how is everyone doing? I hope that your new year is off to a good start. It's a very wintry, blustery day here in the Midwest. We've got snow coming down and wind is blowing. So I hope the lighting is okay. I do have my ring light on and the curtains are open, but it's a little dark. So I hope you can see okay. And then kicking it back old school to Wet n Wild Blossom Glow. Man, I just love this highlighter. It is so pretty. And I'm just going to put that right on the tops of the cheekbones with this little fan brush. Can you see it? I think so. And some of you may be thinking highlighter's not part of an everyday look, and if it's not part of your everyday look, then leave it off. But it's part of mine. Before I go on to shadow, I'm going to do my brows, and I'm using the BH Cosmetics Brow Designer. It's a micro pencil, and I really like it. It's a very good consistency. It's not too hard, it's not too soft. I'm gonna be honest, I got the e.l.f. micro pencil, and I don't like it. First of all, the color's not right. It's too light. And second of all, it's just too hard. It's scratchy to put it on, and you have to press so hard that I tend to break it. So I had one once before, and I thought, well, maybe I just got an old one, and I decided to give it another try. And I love so much from e.l.f. But that's not one of them. So I'll use it up, and at the rate that it breaks, I'll use it up sooner rather than later. But I won't buy that pencil again. So I'm going to use the Milani Soft and Sultry eyeshadow palette. This was when Milani's formula was really good, and I don't know if you can even still find these or not. If you don't have one, it's just kind of an everyday neutral kind of palette, and there are a bunch of them out there. So I'm going to put a picture up of the palette, and then we'll circle the colors I'm using. I'm going into the Ivory Bisque shade first, and I'm going to just put that on from crease to brow bone. And as I've said in many, many videos, the purpose of this is to bring some brightness to the upper lid and to set your eyeshadow primer so that it makes blending easier. The tacky base is nice when you're putting down shimmers, but if you're blending, it's nice to have something that's a little smoother and powdered. And then I'm going to use the center row crease color. It's more of a cool tone brown, and I'm going to put that in the crease and just start deepening that up and above, pressing into that brow bone. So I started asking before, how is everyone? You can update me down in the comments if you like. Is your year off to a good start? I hope that everybody's healthy. I know that there's a lot of illness going around right now. Have you made any New Year's resolutions, or have you set any goals for the new year? A lot of my goals have to do with things related to the channel. I don't really make resolutions because it just seems like you're setting yourself up for failure by not meet them. But I do like to set some goals, and a lot of my goals right now have to do with my channel, creating content, growing, that sort of thing. Because this is kind of where I'm focusing my creative energy right now. And I think it's really important, if you are a creative person, to have an outlet for that creativity. I was just talking about my diaper business, and part of that was a side hustle to make some extra money for the family, but part of it was also just a creative outlet for me. I was busy with raising kids and homeschooling them, and there was a lot that went into that. But the diaper business was something that was just for me, and it was something that I could be really proud of because it did really well. Okay, I'm going to take this shimmer shade, this dark shimmer brown shade, and just pat that on most of the movable lid. I'm just not going right into the very inner corner. This is so soft and creamy and just really a pretty shimmer shade. Then I'm going to take my ring finger and go into the shimmer shade above it, and I'm going to put that right in the inner corner. Now, unfortunately, this one feels like it might have dried out just a little bit. My palette does have a little age on it. So I'm going to take a setting spray, and I'm going to use a flat shader brush, and I'm just going to wet that a little bit. and pick up some dampened so that I can get a little bit better payoff. Yeah, that's better. I typically like adding shimmer shades with my finger, but occasionally you'll get one that needs a little extra help and needs to be applied wet. And that's okay. Now, if you don't like wearing shimmer for an everyday eye look, then just go ahead and go back into that Ivory bisque and put that in the inner corner, and that'll brighten that up. And there's also a deeper brown that you can use. You could definitely go all matte with this eyeshadow palette. Not a problem. I'm going to use the deeper brown on the lower left of the palette and an angled liner brush. And I'm just going to pat that under the lower lash line on the outer corner. And drag that across a little. I'm going to use the Wet n Wild Coloricon Kohl eyeliner in brown, and I'm going to tightline with that. And then I'm also going to use that on the lash line. So I'm just going to press that into the lash line. I'm not really trying to make a very thick line at all. I'm really just trying to concentrate at the base of the lashes. So do you have any fun snow day memories? I'm sitting here in front of a window looking outside and remembering when the kids were smaller and it would snow and my husband would take them tractor sledding. And tractor sledding is exactly what it sounds like. You have a rope and you hook it up to the sled and you hook it up to the tractor, and the tractor pulls you around the pastures, and depending on the age of the child, the tractor goes faster or slower, and sometimes you jump some terraces, and it is just a hoot. It is so much fun. I don't think there's enough snow out there to do that today, but it's just reminding me of when the kids were little and my husband would do the tractor sledding, and it's even more fun if you do it at night. I think I'm ready to curl my eyelashes, so I'm going to do that off camera and I'll be right back. Before I put on my mascara and my brow gel, I like to do my setting spray, because if I do my setting spray after my mascara, it re-wets my mascara and I get mascara everywhere. You may not have that problem, but I do. So I have repurchased my e.l.f. Stay All Night Microfine setting spray. Very favorite setting spray. Love it. And so that's what I'm using today. I mean, it's just that mist. Oh. One more. It just feels so good, and it takes away all that powdery look and feel to your makeup, and then you can just come in and kind of press it out. I'm going to use the iconic Lash Princess False Lash Effect mascara. So after I get my mascara on, I've got 2 coats on each eye, I'd like to take a look again in the mirror and see if I need more blush or bronzer, because sometimes when you put the blush and bronzer on first, you don't want to go in too heavy because it seems like it's a lot, but then when you get your eyes done, you can kind of look a little pale and feel like you need a little more, and I actually do feel like I need a little more blush and bronzer. So I'm just going to sculpt that out a little bit more and actually take a little bit. I feel a little pale, and I don't know if it's just the lighting, that the lighting's a little flat with the way the weather is, but I'm just going to kind of take a little bronzer to the high points of the face and see if that warms things up a little bit. And then back into the blush. By the way, if you notice the condition of both of these products, I've got a video coming up that I'm going to film right after this one talking about these 2 products. So if you want to see that video, make sure that you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and select all, and then make sure you allow YouTube to send you notifications so that you'll get notified when I upload new content and you won't miss anything. So I'm not done. The last step I do, because my eyes are not that great and I always make a mess with my mascara, is I take my 10X mirror and I look, close my eye, and look to make sure that I don't have flakes of mascara on my eye. And if you use a clean spoolie to clean that up, you won't disturb your eye makeup, but those dots will just flake off. And I recommend, if you are of a certain age and your eyes are not what they used to be, that this is a step you might want to do because other people will see your mascara dots. All right, so I took down my bangs and we're going to do some lips. I'm going to use the Believe Beauty lip liner in Barely There. I love the Believe Beauty lip liners and they're like $3. I think I have 3 of them. Sorry, I can't talk if I'm lining my lips, it'll end up everywhere. And then my very favorite lipstick is from Flower Beauty, and my lid is broken and it doesn't stay on, but I don't care. I'm not going to get rid of it until it's gone. It is the Matte Naked Blush, and that's all that's left, but I love this color. It is, for me, the perfect pinky nude, your lips but better, and I wear it a lot. It does stay on well. It is a matte formula, but it's a creamy matte formula. And I almost never leave it matte. My favorite lip gloss is this Hard Candy Lip Plumping Serum. And the color I have it in is Cakewalk. And it's just this really pretty shimmery, and I just love the bottle, this diamond shape. Anyway, I'm going to put that just kind of in the center to give it a little glow. So that's my everyday look. I hope that you enjoyed coming along with me while I just sat down and played in some makeup. And if you're not done with your makeup yet, then click on this playlist for some more Get Ready With Me's, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.